Welcome back, guys. I'm Zell, and today we've got a battle between the Spyderco Endura 4 and the Byrd Cara Cara 2. Two very similar knives from Spyderco, one carrying the Spyderco logo, one carrying the Byrd logo. And very similar knives, however there are some differences. So why don't you come on here a little closer and we'll see what those differences are. Putting the Spyderco Endura 4 and the Byrd Cara Cara 2 FRN models side by side, we can see that they are very, very similar. The only major difference we're going to have here in dimensions is we're about 1/4 of an inch shorter on the Cara Cara 2. Also, the bidirectional texturing put in this circular pattern on the Endura 4, a little nicer, a little fancier looking than the rather plain pattern we get on the Cara Cara 2. Both of them very functional, just a nicer look on the Endura. Also on the FRN, the Endura has nice rounded edges all the way around. Tries to make it really comfortable in your hand. If you've watched my Spyderco Endura 4 review, it doesn't do a lot for me, however it may do great for you. The Cara Cara 2, on the other hand, has slight rounding but more squared edges all the way around it. As we roll them over to see the back, we can see that they're still pretty much the same. However, the Endura has slightly nicer cuts on this jimping up here than the Cara Cara 2 does. And there is a little bit of difference in the length of the lock bar. The Cara Cara 2 looks to be about, 1/4 of an inch shorter, maybe a little more. But not a lot of difference. As we roll them around over here, they have identical pocket clips. And those pocket clips on both knives can be put tip up, tip down, blade forward, blade back, whatever your preference is. When we look at the hardware, the Endura 4 is high polish on everything. The Cara Cara 2 has more of a satin finish. I don't know, there's probably a quality difference too, but just visuals, you get chrome and satin. Another thing to note is the Endura has a round spidey hole, where the Byrd Cara Cara 2 has the comet-shaped hole. Not a lot of difference in real-world use, but they do look different. With them opened up, the shape of the handle on the Cara Cara 2 you can see is different than the Endura. And this allows for this forward finger choil, which I really like on the Cara Cara 2. However, you do lose about 1/4 inch of cutting edge because of this choil. In my opinion, that was a good trade-off. I'm not generally a huge fan of these forward finger choils, but like on the Metallark 2, this makes a difference in the handling of the knife. And on the Cara Cara 2, for me to carry this knife, that forward finger choil is very important. Here we have a shot of both the knives in hand. On the Cara Cara 2, we can choke up a bit, and for me makes a big difference in the way the knife feels. And I suppose you could choke up a bit on the Endura, but it's not designed for that. So as we saw, these two knives are very similar. The major difference is the bidirectional texturing, the nice soft edges on the Endura, and the forward finger choil that the Cara Cara 2 has. The other difference is price. The Cara Cara 2, it goes for right around $20. The Endura 4, $60 or so. So, fairly wide price difference. But for that price difference, you get the nicer handles on the Endura 4, and you get the VG10 blade. The Cara Cara 2 doesn't have a bad blade, but it is 8CR13 MOV, so it's not in the same league with VG10. And what that really means for the user is you're going to have to sharpen the 8CR13 MOV blade more often. So how do you make a choice between the two? Well, for these two knives, I'm going to say you really need to get them in your hands. For me, the Endura just does not feel good. It does not work well in my hand. And it's just a matter of a hot spot on my middle finger. The Byrd Cara Cara 2, on the other hand, that forward finger choil makes all the difference. Makes this a comfortable knife for me to use. So getting these two knives in your hands, I think, is important. Also, how are you going to use the knife? If you're going to EDC the knife, it's just going to be your everyday carry. You're going to be opening boxes, taking care of whatever things that you need to do during the day. General light duty stuff. The VG10 blade is going to stay sharp for a very long time. The 8CR13 MOV is going to be a ways behind it. You're going to have to sharpen it more often. If you're in a work scenario with these two knives, it also depends on what you're doing, and if you're in that scenario, you probably know what you need. But, we'll kind of go over a couple of things. With the price point of the Cara Cara 2, you could have 2, maybe 3 of them for what you spend on the Endura. So, if having a knife is critical, you might want to invest in these and have 2 or 3 of them in your vehicle or in your work bag or whatever. If having the very good steel is more important to you, the Endura is definitely the choice. And guys, between the two, you are getting a nicer knife with the Endura. But the build quality of the Cara Cara 2 is some of the best I've seen for a Chinese knife. And it's good. It's not something that you're not going to be happy with. So guys, between these two blades, it really comes down to money. It comes down to your budget. If you can afford the Endura 4, go for it. You're not going to be disappointed. If you can't afford the Endura 4, that's fine. Get a Cara Cara 2. You're not going to be disappointed with it either. You're going to have to sharpen it a little more often, and it may not be an heirloom quality knife. It may not last for 15 or 20 years, but you're going to get more than your $20 worth out of it. And I suppose it wouldn't be right if I didn't tell you which one I would choose. I get that hot spot with this Endura 4. So, as you can see, it's still a little tight. I did not use it as much as I've used the other 3 knives. The Meadowlark 2, the Delica 4, and this Cara Cara 2. And for me, it all came down to comfort. So like I said, it's important to get these knives in your hands. I do carry this knife on occasion. It's not a daily carry knife, but it does work its way into the rotation. I really appreciate you guys stopping by, and if you'd like, hit that like or share button down there, that would be great. And you want to be sure and hit that subscribe button because we've got a whole lot more coming. We've got lots more knives, more from Spyderco, some from Buck even. And we're going to be doing some stuff with firearms as soon as it gets warm enough consistently outside that I can get out there and do some stuff for you. And we may even shoot a cannon. We've got all that coming up. For now though, guys, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.